Hey everyone, this is Carl from UpsellGuru, and I have today with me Robert Paterson, the CEO of Best Western UK, for our first episode of A Beer with UpsellGuru.
Cheers. I don't know if we can do that through the camera.
Cheers. Yeah, thanks for your time, Rob. I know you're quite busy now. The first question, most important question up front, how are you personally doing?
Yeah, it's been last 3 weeks have been bloody weird. So you kind of wake up each day, and I'm used to having a diary sort of set for a number of weeks, and you know exactly what you're doing and where you're going to be. And I wake up every day and come in, and I'm not sure what's going to happen during the day. And it's long days as well. You're up at before daylight, and I'm not getting home before 10, 11 o'clock at night. So they're very long days as well. But no, it's. I mean, I'm all right. I'm just trying to survive, like everyone.
Yeah, cool. And where are you calling from right now?
I'm still coming into the office. I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually. So I'm in York.
Yeah, okay. And how is it? How is it actually working right now? It's like you're all working from home, and you are the only one in the office, or?
Yeah, that's right. So we set up everyone to work from home actually before it got into lockdown, well before it got into lockdown. So our IT team did an incredible job. But
Yeah.
of course, then it went into lockdown and nobody's allowed in the office. But we're supporting a lot of key workers, NHS and things like that. So I need access to applications and certain things. So I need to be here. So that's my reason for being in the office. And I'm literally the only person here.
Yeah, cool. And how is it working? How is your experience with the entire team being on home office? I think that's probably the first time for you too.
Yeah.
Is it productive?
Yeah, IT have been sort of pushing us to use Microsoft Teams more often and things like that. And you know, you kind of, we'll use it. Well, we've had no choice to adopt it. And actually, it's really, I mean, it's been a real eye-opener because there's so much that, I mean, I personally didn't know you could do in there. So I think a lot of us have really enjoyed it and learned a lot through the experience. And I think when we come back, that's going to be a new normal that's going to change the way I think every company in the world works. We're going to think about things differently because we've had to adopt technology.
Yeah. And tell me, Rob, like last time we met at the convention in the UK, the Best Western convention, there was a camera team following you all the time. They're Channel 4, I think they're doing a documentary about Best Western. Is it still ongoing, or has this project been stopped due to the current situation with COVID-19?
Well, the filming was finished. The filming finished in around February time. So they're into editing now, and the first episode is we've had sight of it and had a copy of it, and it looks fantastic. We're really happy with it.
Yeah.
It's a bit cringe watching yourself on television, but by how the brand is represented, we're really encouraged with how they've done it, and we had no rights over that. That was entirely their decision. So we're happy that they've represented us in a nice way. They're saying they want to go at the end of May, and for us, there's two sides to this. If they go at the end of May live on air, it's a positive because there's so many people at home that you'll get more people watching it.
Yeah.
But I think the risk is if they go at May, it's very hard to get an immediate conversion out of a customer because all our hotels are shut. So we're trying to influence that, but it's not our decision. It's their show. It's their rights. They can do what they want with it. So we're kind of at their mercy a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I think it'll be end of May.
Yeah. And that's also the future of Rob after Best Western. That's the next step is going to Hollywood.
Yeah, I've had a chat with Brad Pitt. He thinks him and I are going to do a movie together, maybe with Ocean's 13, 14, whatever. George Clooney's reached out.
Now talking about the current situation with the corona virus, and is it fair to say that most of the Best Western hotels are closed at the moment? Can you describe a bit like how it's working for the Best Western hotels?
Yeah, it's been devastating for the industry, for everyone globally. So we've got just under 230 hotels closed. And just over 50 hotels open. So this week, or the last week or so, we've actually opened more than we've closed, which has been been positive, but obviously everyone's doing it really, really tough out there. As a percentage of bed stock that's open, we've got a lot more than the other big brands. So we've managed to partner up a fair bit with local authority and hospitals, and that's been our and key workers. That's been what's supported us and what's allowing us to reopen hotels.
Yeah, you mentioned that you and I read actually about it in the media that some hotels were converted into hospitals. Can you describe it a little bit, or talk a little bit about that? How was the process of that conversion? How did you started it? Because I think you were one of the very early adopters in the UK.
Yeah, it's very, what happened here was there was quite a popular television program on a Sunday, and the health minister said that they would, how would they deal with the capacity? And they said they would commandeer empty hotels. So immediately after that, together with our very talented press guy who internally, we put out to the Press Association that we would be ready to help. That was on the back of a lot of our members saying we're ready to help. So we put that out, and that sort of put us front of mind, which was a positive step. But the reality is the last 3 weeks have been crazy, because from that press article, so many people reached out to me, and we formed an NGO called Process C19, and it's got a development fund, it's got a logistics company, a transportation company, legal team, clinical team, some very senior UK clinicians. We formed a not-for-profit company because the reality is there's so much that's involved in converting a hotel to a hospital, right down to particularly on the legal and insurance side, to make sure it's done safely. So there's the clinical aspect of doing it safely, but you have to, in the UK, you have to apply to change the use of the building to the council. Normally a process that might take 3 to 6 months. So we had to have legislation passed by government to allow us to repurpose the building into a clinical facility. We had to, insurance has been really tricky. We've had to think about protective equipment for staff and the hotel itself, how we deal with clinical waste, how we deal with, what if the power goes down and somebody's on ventilation? We need backup generators. There's so much to think about. But we're really proud that we really put the time and effort into it. NHS in the UK has now endorsed what we're doing and partnered with us. And not just Best Western, with Process C19. And we got the first 2 hospitals in the UK, hotels to hospital in the UK last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how does it actually work? Like, so is the normal hotel stuff, they are still there, or is it stuff from NHS taking over? Like, how can we picture the day-to-day for the hotel operators?
It's different by different trusts. So the way NHS is obviously a national body, and then there's NHS Scotland and NHS Wales, but the local trusts are really taking the lead on this. And what we've seen in the one that we've brought live, because it's the most relevant one down in Dorset, is that they have provided all the cleaning staff and the clinical staff, and effectively come in and I guess commandeered the hotel to some degree. We've supplied the operators, the general managers, the owners, which was John and Jenny and Massimo. So there's 2 hotels. And then we supplied the public space cleaning, the food preparation, and maintenance. The rest is taken care of by the local authority in that particular situation. So, but then we've got other scenarios that we're working on where they want to take the entire place and they'll run everything, and all we provide is maintenance. Then we've got other ones that are asking us to do the cleaning. So there's a real varied approach depending on how they can staff and what purpose they want to use the hotel for. Yeah, okay.
And you said 2 are already kind of in a live. How many do you expect to be used as hospitals?
Yeah, I think this is going to be big because we've got 2 that are live with patients actually in the hotel. We've got several just today in the last hour. I've had 3 more inquiries around the UK. So it's driven by capacity. The NHS has 150,000 beds in their capacity. The new Nightingale project, so where they're turning convention centres into hospital beds, that'll account for about another 30 or 40,000 across the UK.
Yeah.
They need, at the start, they estimated they'd need 500,000 beds. Now they're estimating they need 300,000 beds. So they're still short 120,000 beds.
Yeah.
So, and today's a good indication. We've had 3 large inquiries for hotels for 3-month to 6-month blocks. So just in the last hour. So they're coming quick. It's determined by capacity, and realistically, everyone's just moving as quickly as they possibly can to try and deal with this situation. And that's what Process C19 is there to help facilitate.
Yeah. Okay. And would you recommend it to other hotels in the UK and other countries doing the same? Because as you mentioned in the beginning, it doesn't seem to be a very simple process.
Yeah, I think it's not simple, and there's a lot of hard work involved. So you've really got to think about, whether you've got the appetite to do that. We've got one where they want to turn it into a COVID hospital. So we're really struggling on that one because no one wants to clean the rooms where you've got COVID patients. Nobody wants to open the hotel and fix the lift or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of complications there. But on the flip side of that, we have something that can help the national system. So I'd encourage as many hotels as possible to look to try and help in a time that's just desperately needed.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing a really great job on that, supporting the local system. But now, Rob, what do you think hotels should be focusing at the moment in order to be prepared once people are starting to travel again and hotels are reopened? What do you think is hoteliers should be focusing now? What would be your suggestions?
I think now that, I think everyone's kind of gone through the cost mitigation strategy plans, but I think now it's about how do you want to come out of this crisis, because it is going to end. I'm quite optimistic it's going to end, and there's going to be loads of opportunities because the world's going to be a different place. So I think hoteliers need to be thinking about what's going to be the mindset of the consumer at the end of this. How likely are people to meet less, for example? So because we've gotten used to using Skype or Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever it might be, do you need to think about repurposing some of your meeting space? Is there an opportunity to think about bringing in something like a semi-flexible rate in your rate strategy? I think it's the chance to hit that reset button and really think about the mindset of what's going to happen in the future and build your hotel around that, not just physically, but your rate offering. Make sure that do a full SWOT analysis. I think there's a whole lot to do in just hitting that reset button and just going, right, let's think about the new world and let's position ourselves ready to come out on that way. And then from the marketing front, I think now, it's pointless putting money into PPC or anything like that right now, because in a lot of countries, it's banned to go to a hotel anyway. So movements now stopped. So it's pointless doing that. But I do think it's now to start thinking about how do you want your hotel to be seen coming out of this? So how do you want your brand to be perceived? And I think in the UK, at least, I've seen some examples of hotels that have not managed that so well, and they're probably going to come out with some bad will because they've hit the press for the wrong reasons. So I think it doesn't just have to be press. It could be your social media strategy. It could be your email marketing campaign. I think you've got to be really mindful and empathetic in what you're doing. I'm still getting emails coming through, standard. You can tell they're trigger emails. And it's like, why haven't you turned them off? So I think that's where hotels need to be sitting and thinking about now is how do I want to come out of this? How do I want to be seen? And what's the new world going to look like?
One last personal question for you. Now, the day COVID-19 is passed and travel restrictions are also passed, what is the first destination Rob Paterson will travel to?
Nando's.
Nando's. Chicken piri piri.
Nando's chicken, exactly. Closely followed by Oktoberfest. All right, take care, man.
All right, cheers, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.